Elbone here. F1 is officially back after a summer break that felt like it was never gonna end, and I've got everything you need to know before you watch this weekend's 2025 F1 Dutch Grand Prix, so let's dive right in. Elbone! Here's what you need to know about the Formula One Dutch Grand Prix before this weekend's race. The 2025 F1 Dutch Grand Prix is the 15th of 24 rounds in the 2025 Formula One World Championship. The Dutch Grand Prix takes place this weekend at Circuit Zandvoort in Zandvoort, North Holland, Netherlands, Benelux, Europe, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Line AK Supercluster, Universe, Multiverse, Simulation. The Dutch Grand Prix weekend starts this Friday, August 29th, which will consist of free practices 1 and 2. Saturday, August 30th, will consist of free practice 3 and qualifying, and Sunday, August 31st, will consist of the 35th running of the Dutch Grand Prix as part of the Formula One World Championship, all of which have taken place at Circuit Zandvoort. Despite the fact that the Dutch Grand Prix has appeared in less than half of the seasons in Formula One's history, the Dutch Grand Prix is actually one of Formula One's oldest races. The first Dutch Grand Prix was held all the way back in 1952, F1's third season. The only F1 races older than it still on the calendar are the British Grand Prix, Monaco Grand Prix, Belgian Grand Prix, Italian Grand Prix, and Spanish Grand Prix, and the only race older than it to have also never changed circuits is the Monaco Grand Prix. Sadly, this history will all go away after next season when Zandvoort's F1 contract is up, but I am hopeful that we will see the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort back on the F1 calendar again sometime in the future because it's a super fun race. Additionally, fun fact about the inaugural 1952 F1 Dutch Grand Prix, the podium was comprised entirely of Ferraris. Yes, it featured a Ferrari 1, 2, 3 finish. The field for this race contained 18 cars, 4 of which were Ferraris, and 3 of those Ferraris finished the race not only 1, 2, 3, but also 2 laps clear of the Cooper Bristol car that finished P4. Forget a triple podium. Ferrari fans would probably be happy with a single podium in Zandvoort this weekend, given how things are looking right now for the prancing horses. There are 2 things you'll be seeing quite a lot of at Zandvoort. The first thing is sand. Zandvoort is a Dutch beach vacation town with sand literally in the name. Zandvoort roughly translates from Dutch to English as sandy passage, referring to how the cities and circuits landscapes are both dominated by sand dunes. These sand dunes essentially shape Circuit Zandvoort, the design of which sees cars race around, over, and through them. The other thing that you'll see a lot of at Zandvoort, the color orange. Have you ever wondered why Dutch people are so obsessed with the color orange even though it doesn't appear in the Dutch flag? It all has to do with a man named William the Silent, aka William of Orange, aka Willem van Orange. William the Silent was a nobleman born in Germany to the House of Nassau, who would later become Prince of Orange in southern France. This led to the creation of an aristocratic cadet branch called the House of Orange-Nassau. To make matters even more confusing, this German-born French prince went on to become a key figure in the Dutch rebellion that eventually led to the Netherlands gaining its independence from Spain in 1648 after the absurdly long 80 years war that lasted, and you are not going to believe this, 80 years. During the 80 Years' War, William of Orange, who is now a Dutch national hero due to his role in gaining the Netherlands its independence, became known for flying a flag that contained the color orange on account of his house's name, and the rest is history. Not only was the House of Orange-Nassau instrumental in gaining Netherlands its independence in 1648, but it eventually went on to become the reigning House of the Netherlands in 1815 when the Dutch monarchy was formed, a title that the House of Orange-Nassau has retained ever since. So long story short, Dutch people love the color orange as it's a symbol of Dutch independence, pride, and history. This is also the same reason why the Dutch love lions, by the way. The lion is a national Dutch symbol because of its appearance on the House of Nassau's coat of arms. William of Orange is such a Dutch national hero that not only is his color the official, unofficial color of the Netherlands, and his animal the official animal of the Netherlands, but the Dutch national anthem, you know, the one that's burned into your brain thanks to Max Verstappen's insane 2023 F1 season, yeah, it's called Wilhelmus, and it is literally a song about William of Orange. The more you know. Now, let's move on to talking about the Dutch Grand Prix Circuit Zandvoort, but first, if you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a plumbing emergency. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait or call the next one on the list? Chances are you moved on. With OpenPhone, you'll never miss an opportunity to connect with your customers. As someone who's worked numerous jobs where customer experience is of the utmost importance, I can vouch for how important a service like OpenPhone is. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. Plus, say goodbye to voicemail. Their AI agent can be set up in minutes to handle calls after hours, answer questions, and capture leads so you never miss a customer. See why over 60,000 businesses trust OpenPhone. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/bone. That's openphone.com/bone. And if you have existing customers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. The Dutch Grand Prix circuit Zandvoort is 4.259 kilometers or 2.65 miles in length, and the Dutch Grand Prix will be contested over the course of 72 laps around Zandvoort's 14 turns. Circuit Zandvoort? More like Circuit Zandshort. Zandvoort is the shortest circuit on the F1 calendar at which drivers complete F1's mandated 305-kilometer minimum race distance. In saying that, what I'm saying is that Monaco is technically shorter than Zandvoort, coming in at 3.337 kilometers long compared to Zandvoort's 4.259 kilometers, but since Monaco is not run to Formula One's full 305-kilometer minimum race distance due to its historical exemption, I consider Zandvoort F1's actual shortest circuit. Zandvoort is a circuit loved by drivers due to its unique roller coaster-like design. Of Zandvoort's 14 corners, 12 are not flat and 2 are banked. Turn 3 Hugenholtz and Turn 14 Arie Luijendijk-Bocht. Turn 3 Hugenholtz and Turn 14 Arie Luijendijk-Bocht have around 19 degrees of banking each, making them Formula One's 2 most banked corners, which makes it even crazier that Turn 14 is literally a DRS activation zone. For reference, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's bank turns are less steep, featuring 9 degrees of banking, while Daytona International Speedway's bank turns are more steep, featuring an insane 31 degrees of banking. That being said, the Zandvoort of today looks very different from previous versions of Zandvoort that have been raced on in Formula One. Modern-day Zandvoort is much more compact and twisty than the Zandvoorts of old. It kind of looks like someone stepped on the old Zandvoort, and that's how we ended up with the new one, which is all a good thing, in my opinion. As long as whatever giant stepped on Zandvoort didn't get hurt, of course, like stepping on a Lego. Old school Zandvoort looks like it'd be near impossible for modern day F1 cars to get overtakes done at, aside from at Turn 1's Tarzan corner, while modern day Zandvoort has an additional overtaking spot at Turn 11. Real quick, it would be so helpful if you could please like this video. I'm trying to hit 4,000 likes on it so that YouTube likes me more and shows my race previews and recaps to more people. Also, I'm going to respond to pretty much every comment on this video, and if you don't believe me, go ahead and leave a comment after you like the video and you'll see. L-bomb! Alright, here are all the big F1 storylines you need to be following headed into this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix. Your first storyline, how will Max Verstappen perform at his home Grand Prix? Max Verstappen has an absolutely incredible record at Zandvoort. Ever since his home Grand Prix was added back to the F1 calendar back in 2021, Max has won every edition of it aside from last season's where he finished P2. However, Max is entering the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix in some of the worst form he's been in since 2021, with not a single podium through the last 4 Grand Prix for him. If there's any circuit that Max will want to return to the podium at, and is more than capable of doing it at, it is Zandvoort. So I cannot wait to see how he performs in front of that iconic sea of orange-clad Dutch fans this weekend. Your second storyline, are we about to have another wet and wild Dutch Grand Prix? As of the time of this recording, rain is in the forecast for all 3 days of the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix race weekend. We had a rainy Dutch Grand Prix 2 seasons ago, and it made for one of the races of the 2023 season where there were 3 retirements and an Aston Martin and Alpine car somehow both ended up on the podium. Rainy races are always chaotic, but they're made even more chaotic due to how short Zandvoort is, which makes pit windows huge, as well as due to Zandvoort's tricky banked corners and roller coaster nature that allow for drivers to take bold lines in the wet if they have the grip. If we do get rain this Sunday, the drivers are not the only ones who are going to need to buckle up. Your third storyline, the Lando Norris vs. Oscar Piastri World Drivers' Championship title fight rolls on. While McLaren as a team all but sealed up the World Constructors' Championship even before the F1 summer break somehow, the 2 McLaren drivers are locked in a dead heat when it comes to the World Drivers' Championship. And considering just 9 points separate the 2 Papaya drivers through the season's first 14 races, it's looking like it'll stay that way from now all the way through the end of the season, which would be amazing. With margins this slim, every single race matters in a big way, meaning this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix and every race afterwards could eventually be known as the race that won one of them the title. Maybe it'll be Zandvoort. In your final storyline, there are some big driver rumors going around right now. Most notably, it's rumored that Cadillac, F1's American 11th team that's joining the grid next season, will be announcing both of their drivers soon, maybe this week even, with the rumor mill claiming that they'll be announcing Checo Perez and Valtteri Bottas in what will be a very solid driver lineup. In addition, there are also rumors that IndyCar champion Alex Palou could be joining Red Bull to replace Yuki Tsunoda in what will be a move that would break motorsports if it came true. Hopefully at least one or maybe all three of these driver rumors are resolved this week in Zandvoort so that silly season can heat up, as it's been kind of tame ever since the whole Christian Horner thing. Next up, here are Elbone's Dutch Grand Picks, brought to you by Grid Rivals Picks Game. Grid Rivals Picks Game gives race fans like you and me the chance to turn our F1 knowledge into money simply by making correct race predictions on the Grid Rival app, and here are my Grid Rival picks for the Dutch Grand Prix that I'm hoping to turn into some dough. My first Dutch Grand pick is Charles Leclerc to finish better than P4. Not only did Leclerc finish on the podium at Zandvoort last year, but he also has 4 podiums and a P4 in the last 7 Grand Prix. Plus, hopefully Ferrari feel bad about Hungary and supercharge his car. My second pick is Fernando Alonso to finish P8 or better. Alonso is coming off his best result of the season, a P5 in Hungary. He's finished P7 or better in 3 of the last 5 races, and who can forget that he finished P2 at Zandvoort just 2 seasons ago. My third pick is Kimi Antonelli to finish worse than P8. It can be hard for rookies to break out of slumps, and Kimi is certainly in a slump, having only managed 1 point through the last 4 Grand Prix. And my final pick is Pierre Gasly to finish P13 or better. The Gas man has 2 points finishes in the last 3 races and finished on the Zandvoort podium just 2 races ago alongside Alonso. So yeah, I think he can do a P13 or better, okay? If all 4 of these bets hit, I'll turn $10 into $100, and whether you want to follow my Grid Rival Dutch Grand picks, do the exact opposite of them because you think I'm wrong, or you want to make your own entirely different picks, you can get a $100 deposit match when you use my code BONE on the Grid Rival app, which you can download through the unique download link in the description now. Terms and conditions and age and location restrictions apply, and lines may have changed since this recording. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Here are my 3 bona fide race predictions for the 2025 F1 Dutch Grand Prix. In case you aren't aware, I make 3 predictions ahead of every single F1 race, and I'm currently at 19 for 42, aka 45% on the season with my F1 race predictions. The fact that I'm below 50% means my name is currently L-Bone instead of the usual J-Bone on account of how many prediction L's I've taken. But if I go 2 for 3 or better with my Dutch Grand Prix predictions, I could get back to being J-Bone as soon as the next race weekend in Italy, which will be sick, so here's to hoping. My first Dutch Grand Prix prediction is that Lando Norris will win the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix. Here's the deal, folks. It is inarguable that the best drive of Lando Norris's entire F1 career was at last season's Dutch Grand Prix. The dude was on pole by 3.5 tenths, and then he won the race by an absurd 22.9 seconds, people. You have to be an absolute fool to think that anybody but Lando is going to win this race, including his McLaren teammate and a bitter title rival, Oscar Piastri. Sorry, Oscar fans, but this race belongs to Lando, and not even L-Bone can jinx that away. My second prediction is that Max Verstappen will finish on the podium at his home Dutch Grand Prix. Okay, hold on. If any of you out there are thinking of commenting, "Layup pick, L-Bone, boo," then your head is not screwed on straight. Max Verstappen has not finished on the podium in the last 4 Grand Prix straight, and he only has 1 podium finish in his last 7 Grand Prix. That being said, Max has won every Dutch Grand Prix he's ever raced in aside from last season's where he finished 2nd, so I think that his podium drought ends at his home race in front of the Orange Army. My third prediction is that Sauber's Gabby Bortoleto will not finish in the points at Zandvoort. Despite Gabby entering the F1 summer break in impeccable form, having finished in the points in 3 of the last 4 Grand Prix, Gabby's Zandvoort resume does not inspire confidence. He has only finished in the points there 1 time through 4 efforts in Junior Series. Therefore, I think the tricky Zandvoort circuit will be a bump in the road for the impressive rookie. Finally, here's my prediction for the top 5 finishers in the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix with zero reasoning nor explanation. P5, George Russell, P4, Charles Leclerc, P3, Max Verstappen, P2, Oscar Piastri, and P1, Lando Norris. Now for the most important part of this video, what are your predictions for the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix? Let me see them in the comments. Toss me a subscription now and ring that notification bell so that you'll get my combination Dutch Grand Prix recap and Italian Grand Prix preview video next week right when it drops. And while you're doing that, do not forget to like this video and comment on it also so that YouTube likes me, Elbow, more, and also so that I can respond to your comment. Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members: Joe Max's number one hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolfslow's Racing, Waffleopicus, Melissa Cruz, Amar Zuber, Logan, and David Hake. Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right here in future videos. And if you want to join 1,000 plus F1 fans in the free to join Formula Bone Discord, you can go do that through the join link in the description. Until next time, folks, Elbow! Elbow!